Welcome back, Syndicate members. It is I, Joshua Mammoth, back like a vertebrae and ready for another independent comic book review. And Rachel's joining me again. How are you?
I'm doing great today. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful.
I'm so glad to hear that.
So, actually, today is a throwback, one that we've had for a while.
Yes.
A couple years, actually.
Yeah, we got it at MegaCon.
Right, it was at MegaCon, and I met the writer, Joel Rodriguez, and unfortunately was so busy I couldn't really chat with him for very long, but that's where I picked up Nightfall, and as you can see from Trevor, like he signed it for me there, and I've been really wanting to review this, but then it somehow got lost in the shuffle, and then the other day I was going through the stacks of comics that we have, and this one was just there. I'm like, wow.
We got to get this one done.
Yeah. I completely forgot about this because actually, if you go to the Wayback Machine, I did a review on Dusk County Chronicles, which this one is, I guess, it's related to, but it's its own story in itself, too. And so, yeah, this is from Metal Ninja Studios, and they have some really good stuff.
Oh, I really enjoyed it. Especially this book was really awesome to read.
And I gotta say too that I really like the art in this.
Oh, amazing!
Yeah, there's something about it that just I was really drawn to it. Also, the cover being like really nice and shiny, and then of course the cover art was really good.
Yeah, just to throw you in right from the beginning.
Definitely.
I loved it.
So yes, Dusk County Chronicles Nightfall #1. Writer Joel Rodriguez. Art is Roman Gubsky. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that.
Yeah, I didn't know how to.
And published by Metal Ninja Studios. So first off, when you open it, the story really kind of has a interesting start.
Very interesting. I didn't know what to think was going into this. I was like, okay, we got zombies right from the get-go.
Oh, because I was just thinking Dead Corpse. But yeah, I could see how you got zombie too.
Yeah.
Basically the same thing. So yeah, you gotta, and then you hear someone, I guess, like begging to be released or something.
Yeah, they're like, calling for help almost,
And it kind of appears to be like a dark room filled with multiple dead bodies.
Yes, limbs are missing. It's really weird looking. Yeah.
And then the door opens. There's a bright light that comes in, and there's a silhouette.
Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh, okay, someone here to save them? You would be wrong, because then the next page is, while it's an amazing splash page, would be terrifying to see coming in.
I like this guy's nails.
Very fashionable.
Yeah, so he, the guy that's the silhouette is actually some type of monster, and he rushes in.
Yeah, just literally. Well, he looked like a vampire to me.
Could be vampire, yeah. Could be. He already had blood on the mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are common characteristics of the vampire. Now, when you turn the page, though, completely different story.
Oh, 180. Yeah.
It's daytime. We're
beautiful.
At the sheriff's department.
Yep.
And basically, this lady is in there trying to convince the sheriff, which I believe his name was Spencer Malone.
Yeah, Spencer Malone, and her name was Lori Evans. She was trying to convince him that her sister was missing, and trying to file a missing police report. So
I'm just going to say it now because I probably will later on. I was so scared I was going to say Sam Malone.
That's why I remembered it so well, though.
Like, it's Spencer Malone. And I was like, wow, I actually pulled that off. I didn't say Sam. Yeah, so Lori is there. Lori, right? Lori.
Yep, Lori.
Lori's there, and she's trying to convince the sheriff that her sister's been lost at the edge of Dusk County, which I guess is it's a big pandemic there.
Yeah, people just go missing.
People go missing, but there's only 3 people on the sheriff's board missing.
Which I thought that was pretty suspicious right there.
Well, he also alludes to those missing lack of people later.
I guess that's true.
So she's trying to convince him. He's obviously not convinced.
Oh, yeah, he's like, look, she's in Miami. She's, just happened to pass through here. Because apparently the last time that her phone, dinged was right there on the county line. So that's why she's like, no, she's here and I can't find her car. He's like, she just drove through. It's fine. No big deal.
Right. And as, you're kind of trying to figure out what's going on, there's a disturbance from outside the sheriff's office.
Yes. All of a sudden, this woman, she... her
name's Susan.
Yeah, she gets a little rambunctious.
Right, because apparently she has also lost someone. They're currently missing in Dusk County. And I think it's her daughter.
Her daughter, Jenny.
Jenny.
Yeah.
And she is, I guess, a frequent visitor of the sheriff's office because you got to stay on top of these guys.
Well, you do, but she was actually arrested for trespassing because it looks like she was trying to take matters into her own hands. And she was trying to find her daughter because she doesn't think the cops are doing enough. So
sometimes you got to get out there.
I don't recommend that.
Hey, sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Anyways.
So the sheriff, though, I guess they're friends.
They're friends, and he was like, "Look, Susie, you got to calm down. You can't be, the Lone Ranger up in here. You got to do, the law, and you can't be trespassing on things." And she's like, "Well, do your job."
See, even the Lone Ranger had a partner.
Well, I guess later she will.
Well, Lori overhears all of this, and she kind of, I guess, decides to exit herself, telling the sheriff, "Oh, actually, Lacey just called me."
Yeah.
Just sent me a text. So yeah, you're right. She's in Miami.
Yeah.
And of course, the sheriff's not buying this.
He was like,
I mean, you could tell by his face. He didn't say anything, but his face is like, "But you were like so sure."
2 seconds ago. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, she just leaves. But we find out why she's in.
Yes, because what I'm assuming is because she's hearing Susan yell that her daughter's been missing for 6 months and the cops haven't found her, done anything. She's like, you know what? I'm going to go team up with this girl. I think I need to figure out what's going on because the cops are obviously not going to do anything.
Well, she follows her to this burned out house.
Well, she actually finds her in the. She started looking her up on the internet first.
Oh, that's right. She looked her up, and then there's a story.
Yep, and she's like, "Oh, apparently her house was burned down when she was trying to, or that's when her daughter went missing. Was the night that her house was burnt down or almost burnt down, set on fire.
Set on fire.
Yeah.
And her daughter's missing, and she claims that she's missing, but it could be like a runaway situation because we don't know, maybe she started the fire.
Yeah, you never know. But that's when Lori's going to go and try to figure it out. She's, okay, let me just try to see if she's here. So
and yeah, this house it's burned out.
I mean, it looks. I mean, what is the word? Vacant.
Well, I was like, okay, so this house might be abandoned, but then I saw scaffolding on the side of it, and I'm like, well. Are they rebuilding this house? But if they're rebuilding it, why is she living in it?
Oh, it's terrible. Well, because when you first go in, because she just lets herself in, which I thought that was crazy. She knocked, but she did just let herself in. Like, girl.
Well, maybe she also thought it was abandoned.
I guess that's true. So she goes looking through the house, and it does look abandoned. It looks terrible in there. The damage has definitely, or the fire damage has definitely set in. But then she sees a light and goes down to the basement, which, I don't know if that was such a good idea.
And see, this is the thing, too, that whenever you see a light in a basement and you're by yourself, I do not recommend going down there.
I really don't, yeah.
How many times have we seen that happen?
It's been bad.
But she goes down there, and then this great, crossover page here with the actual board of missing people.
Yes, because it's got different news articles, it's got their pictures, and there's a lot.
And this was such a cool picture too.
It really was.
I really loved this picture. I was just scanning over it and seeing they got the big pictures and the articles and it's linked together. It was really good. And so Lori's looking over this and realizing, okay, it's got the 3 people that the sheriff has, but lots and lots.
Yeah, lots more.
Lots and lots more.
It's like she's doing a better job than, someone's doing a better job than the police are. And then you go on to the next pages of she's got maps and she's got, little red dots on the maps. I mean, you can tell she's been doing a lot of research down there.
Well, she had to, because the basement would be the only place that fire didn't damage.
It's true. So, of course, Lori's just looking around, kind of just, making herself comfortable.
Yeah, she's looking at pictures. She's like picking up pictures. Oh, this must be Jenny.
Yeah.
And just kind of making herself at home, really. Just looking all through this woman's stuff.
And while the whole time not paying attention to what's going on behind her, because you start seeing a shadow kind of creeping up behind her, and she doesn't notice until she's looking at the picture, and she sees a reflection. And she's like, oh, wait a minute, what is going on behind me? And it's a good thing she finally pays attention, because she ducks just in time, because Susan comes out just swinging with a baseball bat, like she's Babe Ruth or something.
Yeah, she barely dodges that, and then is like, hey, you could have killed me. She's like, actually, you may still die.
I know, you're in my house. What are you doing?
Actually, I thought that part was pretty good. She's like, actually, you still may die. We're not done with this situation.
I don't know who you are still. Nothing has changed.
But this is the part that kind of threw me, because then I was like, why is she telling her this? Because she basically says, look, I lost somebody too, and I heard about your loss, and I'm a PI.
Yeah, and she's like, I'm a PI, and I,
Oh wait, no, she didn't even mention she was looking.
No, she just said that she's a PI, and she heard about, Jenny, and that she's been gone for 6 months, and that she has information. She knows where she's at.
And like, she's a special PI for lost causes.
Right, because she's like, I've talked to every PI. Like, why are you so different? No one else has taken my case, and she's like, oh no, I'm a special one for lost causes. And she even tells her she knows where she's at, which of course. This gets her attention at that point.
And she's pointing out where she told the sheriff that Lacey was last sighted.
Yes. And then Susan was like, you know what? There's a cabin there I think we need to check out. And she goes over to this cabinet. And what do you know? It's a weapons cabinet.
Yes, like an arsenal.
Got, like, all kinds of stuff in there. Guns and knives and, I don't know, clubs and just whatever you want to think. It was just
maybe that's surprising. What she spent the insurance money on.
Insurance
for the fire.
Oh, she's like, forget cleaning it up.
Yeah,
I'm
not rebuilding. I'm arming up.
Oh, that's so funny. I love it. But yeah, so they get their weapons. They're like, okay, let's get to this cabin.
Let me ask you this: so, did you think at the time, like, oh, is she lying to her, or is she actually a private investigator?
Oh, unless she's lying.
Because I was like, well, okay, maybe it could be both. Because I was like, okay, maybe her profession is private investigator, and that's why she's all up in the sheriff's business.
I don't know. I think, like, if she was, she would have started that at the sheriff's office. You would have been taking her more seriously. She'd be like, no, right, in my investigation, I'm a PI. Like, this is what it is.
Because I didn't know at the beginning. I was like, I don't know if she is lying. But then I was like, but if she already knows where approximately her daughter is, did she just want to bring this lady along with her?
That's what I mean. Like, why lie about all that? She should have been front. Like she said at the doorway before she pretty much break and entry. She was like telling herself, like, okay, just let her know that I'm looking for my sister Lacey and.
Okay. Maybe that's where I got that from.
Yeah, because she was like telling herself, like,
she was talking to herself outside the door.
Like, I'm just gonna tell her.
That's what I meant too. Like, she could have just told the lady the truth, and I'm sure she would have went.
It would have made much more sense to me than the whole PI thing.
Like, I guess because the lady swung the bat at her, she didn't have a choice.
She's maybe she's not scared of them.
She's like, I gotta lie. Okay, so they get outside another cabin in the woods situation.
We got horror movies just back to back in this.
But the sheriff shows up.
Yeah, because she's like, oh, we gotta wait for Susan goes, we gotta wait for some backup. And she's like, backup? And the sheriff pops up. And I was like, whoa. I was like, why is he there? Well, come to find out, he is a family friend. Mm-hmm. And he has been taking care of Susan and Jenny since Jenny's father passed away, which apparently was his close friend. Mm-hmm. So, he's there. No, I believe you. We just got to get things done. I just don't want you to be in the Lone Ranger. See, he's the backup that he kept referring to. But yeah, so they're finally there. So they go to the cabin and they're.
He also mentioned that he has to kind of overplay it a little bit when Susan's in the station.
Which I think is weird. Well, I guess because he's the sheriff. He doesn't want to show favors.
Yeah, exactly. So he has to kind of play like, he's keeping her grounded. But in reality, he's showing up to a cabin in the woods.
Helping her out. And immediately he's like, oh, we should all split up. And again, the lawyer's like, I don't think that's a great idea. Like, have you ever seen a horror movie? And I was like, finally, they're getting some sense here. So for some reason, though, he splits up. And it's just Susan and Lori, and they split and go together.
Yes, and I actually like the way that they basically it's a trashed out cabin.
Yeah,
and it looks like they're not really finding much until Lori steps on something on the ground, which ends up being like a secret passage, kind of like an Evil Dead.
It's more like a trap door, I would think. But anyways,
it's not really a trap because you got to lift it up.
It might be a trap.
Maybe there's traps inside of it.
But you lift it up, and yeah, sure enough, they see a light at the end.
But here's the thing: it's like a bright white light. It's not like I don't really
soft lit at the bottom.
Yeah, if you're going down to a basement, you're assuming that it's not going to be this super bright white.
Yeah,
and that I would be very leery of going down there, but they do go down there and start kind of snooping around.
Well, because they hear someone yelling for help, and Susan automatically assumes it's her little girl Jenny, so she just goes flying down there, and Lori is the one going, oh, I don't know if this is a good idea, like, what is happening? But she just goes full-fledged.
Well, she's gonna, this isn't a good idea. Okay, you are the reason we are out here right now.
It's true.
Like, the chain of events that led to us walking down these stairs into this basement are 100% Lori's fault.
No, I agree. But, sure enough, they're there. So, Lori goes running after, and they open a door, and they do find someone.
Yeah, and it's actually the room that we saw at the very beginning of the comic.
Yes.
With all the dead, what I assume are dead, rotting corpses.
Yeah. But they actually find Lori's sister, Stacy.
Lacey,
that's right. They find Lacey, and yeah, she's not looking so good.
No, she's looking very corpse-like as well. Although she is still alive.
Barely.
She is still alive, but barely. And then that's when we see... Well, I just referred to him as the gentleman from the beginning of the book. And he's there with a gang of other... I guess supernatural beings.
Monsters, not too sure what to call them. Yeah, some interesting characters he's hanging out with.
Well, one of them's a werewolf, or at least looks like a werewolf, and rushes in there and pulls Lori out. Kind of throws her out, really.
Yeah.
And she's still like holding like a corpse's arm or something.
But just in time, because we're wondering, where's the sheriff? He barges in, and he actually takes on the werewolf into some amazing pages.
Yes. Oh, that's when he grabs them and like throws them down and then the guts go
everywhere.
Yeah, that was pretty epic.
It was pretty crazy. Those are amazing pages. We'll definitely show them here for you. But yeah, so they're like, oh, perfect. The sheriff is here.
Well, because that was if I remember right, the gentleman was about to bite Stacy's neck.
Well, yes, he was just about to bite when, you're right. He was just about to bite Stacy's neck. Like, I think he's a vampire, because why else are you biting her neck?
Right.
But yeah, he's about to bite her neck. The werewolf is there, and literally, just at the last second, that's when the sheriff pops in.
And then the werewolf charges the sheriff, and the sheriff basically rips him
apart.
Yeah. And then, like, leaving the dude sitting there, like, holding Stacy, like, what the hell just happened here?
Yeah. And then, yeah, so now we got the vampire guy, and he's holding Susan. Yeah, he's holding Susan.
Right. And then, so he ends up not biting her, and then the sheriff says she's off limits.
Yeah, they start talking to them. I was like, wait a minute, why are they talking? And he says, hey, look, she's off limits, but you can have the other two, referring to Lori and Stacy, or Lacey. I want her to be Stacy. So I don't remember why.
That's right. He's like, yeah, the other two, though, you can have.
Yeah, have it. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? Like, he's a bad guy this whole time? I was like, that is ridiculous.
Well, the cool thing here, though, too, is that we see that the sheriff's uniform got ripped. And then he's wearing he's wearing like something like tights underneath it.
I know.
And that's actually from the first Dusk County Chronicles.
Oh, that's right.
He's a character from the first book.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, so I thought, wow, this is a really interesting tie-in.
Real good tie-in, yeah. But yeah, I just couldn't believe that. Yeah, he was the bad guy helping with the vampire the whole time. But he does like Susan. I mean, lucky for her, I guess. But she's gonna, I think, look at him a little different after this.
If she wasn't already unconscious.
I guess that's true. Passed out, terror.
But what happens to Lori and Lacey?
I guess we're gonna have to find out in the next one.
Yes, actually, I went to the website because it's been a while, like I said, since I picked this up, and they're already on number 3.
Oh, good, because man, we need to get those.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was very, very pleased about that. All right, you ready to break this biscuit down?
Yeah, let's go for it.
So didn't even need my cards here today. Okay. It's like we're betting here. What's your first like?
Oh man, I really like. Well, actually, I like the art style. I thought it was realistic, but in a cartoon-like way, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, actually, the art was really, really nice. The shading was really good, and there were just so many great panels and splash pages.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, some of even just like I said, the one with the missing pictures and stuff like that. Just so much detail on that. It's just really.
No, I actually found myself staring at that one quite a bit because it's just such a cool page.
It was. Yeah.
I guess like a cool spread, like 2 pages.
It was good.
I like the basement of the cabin.
Oh yeah, that was a surprise.
Like, think of it this way, okay? So what if you buy a cabin in the woods, right? You go there and you're just, you go in, there's all this crappy furniture, but then you find all of this extra square footage down below.
Yeah, but I'd be terrified of what was even before.
It doesn't matter.
There was like a jail cell. It was great.
For some fresh paint, throw rugs, you got a little something.
Some flowers.
And I guarantee you, people like weirdos will pay to stay in an underground bunker in a prison cell. They will.
This is true. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you could rent it out as like John
Airbnb.
John Kramer's Airbnb. Also put that I like the gentleman, which I guess is the vampire.
I did. I actually I really liked him. He was very stylish.
Yeah, he didn't say much, but he wore a suit well.
Well, he really got his point across with what he was doing, I think. So I don't think he needed to say too much. But yeah, he was very stylish, but yeah, it was very unique to look for. I thought that was pretty cool.
And he always had blood around his mouth.
I'm like, dude, get a handkerchief, napkin, something.
Maybe it's
carry it in your pocket.
Maybe it's actually like, what's that, like rosacea or something?
Oh gosh. Yeah, I don't think that's what it is.
What else did you like?
I just liked the monsters. Actually, I just liked how they were so different from each other, and some I couldn't even figure out what they could be. Like
you know what?
Fish head.
Speaking of this, Trevor, put the panel up here. This clown.
The clown was in there.
He didn't do anything or say anything. He was just standing there. I'm like, that's the MFR. I do not want to mess. That's the one right there. I don't know what's going on with that clown, but
I like it. Yeah.
I put Malone slamming the werewolf. That was really cool.
I actually loved that. That whole scene of the fight. I thought that was really cool how it was done, and
it didn't take much for him to do that either.
Well, yeah, because he's obviously a mutant with them, so it was like his match kind of thing.
And I guess the werewolf didn't know that.
Well,
he found out. He didn't know his life, but he figured it out. But okay, I really liked Lori's deception.
Oh man, I did. I was like, why are you even complicating this even more? I didn't understand that at all.
I guess maybe she thought that if she didn't include Jenny, that Susan would not go with her, but I don't think that's the case. I think
they had a common bond or a common, enemy of anything.
I agree. I think anything she would have told her, hey, my sister's missing. I think I know where she is. There's a chance Jenny might be there. She's gonna go.
I think we should go. Yeah,
but
I know. Especially for her being a PI and all that. Well, I guess that was her way to get in.
Mm-hmm.
Still, really weird.
Yeah.
I mean, it worked, I guess, but.
What did you really like?
I just really liked. Actually, the plot twist at the end. The fact that the sheriff was.
That's always a good twist.
Which I was like, okay, so you think he would have gone with them so they wouldn't find the underground if he already knew what was going on?
Well, there's a couple of possibilities. Maybe he didn't actually know about the underground part, because if he did, you think he'd be like, all right, I'll search this area and you two go over here.
Right? Oh, that's true. Maybe he just didn't know anything about it.
Because that's what I thought. Or he wanted them to find it and go down there, but then again, though, you have the Susan problem. So I'm just thinking maybe he didn't know that there was actually an underground bunker, and that's why he let them look around in that area.
Yeah, okay, I can see that. But yeah, I love the plot twist. I was not super helpful.
I really like Susan's arsenal.
Oh, I love that. Girls gotta be prepared, especially when you live alone. Come on.
There was some pretty good stuff in there.
There was some great stuff. Yeah, I thought that was so funny when she popped that open. I was definitely not expecting that.
And the first thing that I loved about this book, I loved the coloring of it, especially in some of the scenes that it was like dusk.
Yes, so that's actually something I loved too, was just the, not only the way that it looked at different times of day, but even at nighttime. That so impresses me that artists are able to do that, where you can tell it's nighttime, you can tell it's pitch black, or not even pitch black, but the room is dark, I should say, and you can tell every detail in it, and that's just really impressive.
Well, I like the fact that, especially when they're going out to the cabin, they're walking through the forest area, and it looks dark.
It does.
But then when they get to the cabin, where the forest breaks at, and they're talking to Malone,
yep,
you can see that it's actually dusk.
Yes, and it's so pretty.
And it looks really good.
Yeah, it's really impressive with all the detail.
It is impressive.
And just makes it just more lifelike. But like I said, in like a cartoon way, so it's definitely really unique. I really liked it.
I did too. I also like the tie-in with the sheriff from the Dusk County Chronicles #1.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Because I thought he looked familiar, but I couldn't identify it until the end when I saw his uniform.
Oh, it's the guy. Yeah.
Also, that crossover page, I can't get enough of that. With the bulletin board with all the missing people.
Man, she really did her research. And they kind of went into it in the story that he knows that she's got more missing people than he does, but they got to be reported and stuff.
That's the thing,
but
yeah.
I was like, well, she knows they're missing, so someone's got to report him. She just doesn't make up, who's missing or not. So she's got to know they're missing. So how else would she know that they're missing? But I thought that was kind of random. But yeah, that was his excuse for not having all the missing people.
Yeah, that they're not reported. But then you're right. Then how would she know? Because she obviously doesn't know physically all of these people.
And if she does, well then, girl, go report him then.
Maybe she's the one that took him then. See, that's your connection.
Maybe she is. Maybe she set her up the whole time. Maybe she knew she was lying. Maybe she knew where he was lying.
She's like, I'm gonna get rid of her now.
She's too close.
Oh, that's the thing. I'm gonna have to go order a couple because I need to find out more.
Go.
I had no idea they were already up to that issue #3.
We're behind. We gotta get
yeah, definitely. So, MetalNinjaStudios.com and let them know Joshua Mammoth sent you. You can tell them Rachel sent you too.
I appreciate it.
You have anything else you want to add?
Nope, just a great book. You definitely gotta check it out.
All right, Syndicate members, between the known and the unknown lies the man. I'll see you next time.